I ended up getting over 800 responses, and it took about a year to do that. But now I'm super excited. People have gotten jobs at Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Tesla, and a lot of larger companies. And so without further ado, what I'm going to do is share my screen, and we're going to pick some of those profiles to start reviewing. So what I'm going to do is, so far there's 32 people who have created a response. And I have a random number generator in the form of a claw. And so we're going to pick random number, and then review those profiles. Also, if you're viewing this, in the description, there is a sign-up sheet. So if you want to put in your name live, you can add that, and then we'll add the numbers. So the first profile that we'll be reviewing is number 21. So we're going to go to number 21, and this is Brandon Sylvester. So real quick, we're going to read, tell us about your goals on LinkedIn and any struggles. All right. I apologize. I think this is my first time, so I think the audio might have been bad, but I hope that's better. All right, so Brandon says, please tell us about your goals on LinkedIn and any struggles you are facing on the platform. So he said, I want to find my next career opportunity in information technology. And then if you're looking for a job, please share a few example job titles you'd be interested in. So IT support, desktop help, help desk, tech support, data center technician. Okay, so with that in mind, Brandon is in the active job search. So the way that you can do, we're going to take a look at his profile. Okay. The big thing with profile reviews is we're trying to optimize the profile for SEO. And so if you're not familiar with SEO, pretty much it's the same way that things appear on the first page of Google. And so with Brandon, he mentioned that he's looking to get a job as a desktop support technician, IT support. First impression is your headline, your cover photo is really relevant. I can take one look and immediately I notice that you're in IT. So that's a great pointer. Profile picture is good. You have your open to work banner. There's a lot of people who say like, oh, I don't know if I should have the open to work banner. I personally, if I were in a job search, I'd have it. Some people say there's a bias. It might look desperate, but I'm okay to look desperate if it gets me a job. That's my thoughts. So with your headline says efficient in IT support, desktop support, mobile device administration, and data center. This is good because it shows keywords, but it could be better. And what I mean by that is you're using about 50% of the potential that your cover photo, your headline could have. So what you can do is pretty much double the amount of characters in your headline. What I'd recommend is looking at your experience. So you've been a MFG tech. You currently have been doing that for 6 months, order processing, mechanic, helper, IT support specialist. Okay, so what I would recommend doing is adding the job that you are currently doing. So MFG tech at Hy-Vee Solutions. Okay, so that would be the first part of your headline. And then add like some sort of separator. So above the enter and below the backspace on the keyboard, there's a vertical line. You can separate keywords in a headline using that vertical line, and then tell people what you're experienced in. So looking at your past history, you could mention experienced IT support specialist. And so the benefit of this is your headline would say currently MFG Tech 1, experienced IT support specialist. And then what you can do is show those skills. IT support, desktop support, mobile device administration, and data center. So by adding your current role as well as past experiences, that will help your profile to get seen in more recruiter searches. After that, your about section. This, I would say, is what 95% of about sections look like. What I mean by this is, so my name is Brandon Sylvester. I have 5+ years of IT support experience working with high-tech companies around the Bay Area. Okay, great. It's kind of like the top of a resume. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I think what you have here looks great. What I'd recommend doing is adding more personality, kind of show recruiters and show people who you are, what you've done. And so a good format is have a hook. Like any article these days, they start off with grabbing the attention. The headline is the most important part. So I'd add something about like, how did you get interested in IT support? Where have you come from? What's your background? And then cover the past, the present, and the future. So I got interested in IT support help when I was in college. I had this role. I've overcome these, issues and these struggles to get to where I am today. I am interested in pursuing a role in desktop support or a support specialist role, data center, etc. And my last I have 2 more recommendations for your about section is to add like what I do when I'm not at work. So what this would look like is when I'm not at work, I enjoy, what do you enjoy? Sports, watching videos, movies, video games, eating food. Pretty much it kind of shows a little bit about your personality. And then the last thing I'd recommend is to add a skills part at the end of your about section. So pretty much what this would look like is skills include. Now for this, you can pretty much copy and paste a lot of the skills that you have at the bottom of your profile. So Hira, PuTTY, communication, and list all of those 22 skills, but at the bottom of your about section. And what this will do is it will help your profile to be seen in relevant recruiter searches for Hira, communication, Jira, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, desktop support, mobile device administration, data center. And having that in your headline, your about section, your job experience section, and your skills section will help you to appear in more recruiter searches. So that's my advice for your headline, your about section. Honestly, your experience section looks a lot better than a lot of profiles that I take a look at. You have them filled out, you have skills included, you give relevant bullet points. So very good job. Props to the work that you've done here. My one advice would be to add more pictures. It just adds a lot of color and looks really good on a profile when you add links or photos. If you have a picture of you at NASA, at headquarters or anything like that, it adds a lot of color as well. Education section, not too much here. I would just recommend adding a little bit more than just business administration. Did you attend any clubs? What classes did you take? What courses did you take, etc. And then for skills, you have 22 skills. You can add up to 50. So I would recommend erring on the side of more than less. So I'd at least add 15, 20 more skills to your profile and focus on hard skills. So roles like the shipping, receiving, customer service, material handling, desktop deployment, these are all great examples of skills that you should include on your profile. A lot of people include things like detail-oriented, problem solver, things that aren't very searchable. So great job. And then recommendations. Most profiles these days don't have a recommendation. So the fact that you even have one is great. These look really good in the job search. So overall, Brandon, I would say excellent job. Glad to see, the initiative that you're taking on LinkedIn. And so by adding more, keywords into your headline, your about section, and then also your skills section, you will appear in more roles related to the jobs that you're interested in. I hope that helps. If you're just tuning in, welcome to these live LinkedIn profile reviews. The link to this document that I'm pulling out of is in the YouTube description below. Feel free to add your name and we'll be sure to put your name in this. So now there's 33. So what I'm going to do is change the number to 33. And then move on to the next profile. So let's go for this pink one. All right, 23. We got the number 23. So I'm going to type that in right here. All right, so Sango Pascal, tell me about your goals. My goal is to find an entry-level job that will help me grow my career. I'm willing to put in effort. So you're looking for software developer, customer technical support specialist roles. Software developer, great. So let's take a look at your profile. With that, I'm going to, like I said, I haven't taken a look at any of these profiles before. So what we see is going to be my first impression. And to be helpful, I'm just going to be completely honest with what we see. And also, it's taking a minute to upload. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next one and have that start loading while I review Sango's profile. All right, so 31. We're going to jump to 31. And then, Eva asked not to have this, her profile shown, so we'll do 32. Brittany. All right. So Brittany's profile will load while we're reviewing this one right here. All right, so immediate first impression is we want to work on your headline. You're currently using just a basic headline. And then I do like the words, but this is pretty word heavy on your headline. So you mentioned passionate software engineer with good critical thinking, leading to excellence, passion for solving the most challenging problems for others, leadership, loyalty, integrity, perseverance. So I do like the fact that you do call out some of your strengths in your cover photo, but what I would recommend is making this box maybe half of the size. So right here, or even making multiple boxes. And then instead of having full length sentences, add hard skills. So these right here of leadership, loyalty, integrity, perseverance, selflessness, good communicator, that the issue with soft skills is that anyone can describe themselves with soft skills. And so it's like we're taking your word for it. But hard skills, people, you either have them or you don't. So I'd recommend replacing these 3 bullet points with 3 or 4 of your strongest skills. So web development. Let's look at some of your others. Python, C++. You're certified in all of these things, which is amazing. Computer maintenance. And so if you're looking for a job, what I'd recommend is call out the hard skills, because a recruiter will immediately see the skills that you add to their role, like C++, Java, Python. It's like, okay, great. I'm going to take a look more into this profile because Sango already has the skills that I'm looking for. Similar thing to what mentioned in the first profile is you can have up to 220 characters in your headline. And so I'd recommend adding more to this. It's a good start because you do mention the role that you have, which is a web developer at WordLift. And then what I do is next add some of the experienced roles that you have. So experienced website translator, or experienced WordPress website developer, experienced junior software engineer. These are all examples that I'm giving. And then the next is just add a chain of some of those skills that you have: Java, C++, Python, etc. So I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions throughout this, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Happy to address some of the questions. But so my first impression on the top card of your profile is shorten the box, less words, but focus more on hard skills, heavy hitting hard skills, and then add more to your headline, since this will help you to get seen by in more searches. Next up, oh, great. right here in the last profile, we didn't see a featured section. And so a great thing that you're doing right here is you have a featured post. Let's see. I believe this is a post. So depression awareness. One thing that I'd recommend is you can add a description to why you shared this. So you can add a description. Was this your post? What is it about this post that resonates with you? What will people see if they visit this? Another thing right here that we didn't see on the last profile is activity. I see that you're active, posting on the platform. A good thing, this is honestly a very underrated part of the profile, and here's why. Recruiters, they get a limited amount of emails every single month. And so what this means is if I'm a recruiter and I get 30 credits to email someone every month, that means I can only message 30 people that I'm not connected to for free. Now, if I see a candidate who I'm on the fence about, but I don't see any recent activity, I'm less inclined to message them because I'm like, it doesn't look like they've been on LinkedIn in the past month or so. And so if I send them a message, odds are they're probably not going to respond because they're not giving me any sign that they've been on LinkedIn. But with this, where I see that you posted something 5 days ago, I'm more likely to send you an email because I'm like, oh, Sango is recently on LinkedIn. And so if I send them a message, they're probably going to see it. So great job. Continue sharing posts, comments, etc. With the about section, it is pretty bulky right here. But what I do see that I really love is you mention your skills. So you mentioned so far I have Java, Spring Boot, Framework, SQL, PHP, JavaScript, and you go on listing a lot of skills that you have. I think every job seeker should have a paragraph similar to this, because even if a recruiter doesn't read this, you are going to appear in searches for Python, SCSS, Bootstrap, Query, React, CSS, etc. And also it gives a high level overview of the skills that you have. So great job. You mentioned you love applying design principles. What I'd recommend is space out each paragraph. So add a little bit more white space after your about section, after each paragraph, and then have a hook similarly of what got you interested in software engineering, or why did you decide to pursue your job as a web developer? And that will kind of add that personality, add that hook. The last thing is that I'd recommend is similarly add that personality of what you like to do when you're not at work. So great job. Experience. I like that you have the profile, the jobs here, but what I'd recommend is adding bullet points to them. So similarly to what you've done to each of these experiences, add it to WordLift, talk about what you do. And then another thing is I have never heard of OMG Code before, or OpaTrip or Backbone. I've never heard of these companies before. And so one thing that you risk when you don't add a description about the company is I have to click off of your profile to learn what OMG Code is, to see if it's relevant to my industry. And then that means that I have to go back to your profile. If I click on your profile, if I have to click off your profile, you're risking that I never come back again. So I'd recommend adding a little description to the companies that you worked at. Other than that, education, licenses, skills, all of these look amazing. Super good job. Also with the projects, you mentioned some of the projects that you've worked on. I think everyone should use this and use this as a good template for what you can do as a job seeker, adding these licenses. The last thing that I'd recommend is ask for recommendations. So people that you've worked with, just reach out to them, be like, hey, I'd love to recommend you. Would you also be happy? Would you be willing to recommend me in return? So overall, great job. I hope that this feedback for your profile helped. The next, we are at Brittany's profile, and we're going to read what she mentioned her goals are. So her goal is to reach more recruiters and optimize LinkedIn, struggling to connect with more recruiters and employees of the companies I'm interested in, not hearing back when I do connect with them, etc. UX designer, UI, UX designer. Okay, great job. First impression, beautiful cover photo. I think, it looks really clean. I like it a lot. The profile picture looks great. I like how you got this clean picture and then you added your name, really simple, and then UI, UX designer, as well as your portfolio site. Another thing that you did super well right here is that you added the link to your portfolio site right here. So I can simply click on it and be taken to your portfolio, which is great. All right. So my feedback is keep it up. It looks great. Headline also looks really good. You mentioned your current role, the amount of experience that you have, Figma, Adobe. So you add some of the skills that you have, which is exactly what I've been telling everyone else that they should be doing. So great work with this. Honestly, I don't have any feedback for your headline. You're utilizing your skills well, as well as your current role. You can mention when you say 1+ year of experience, what is that experience in? Is it 1+ year of experience in UX design, UI, research, user experience designer? Okay, yeah, looks like UX designer. So I would recommend adding 1+ year of experience in UX design. So just specifying what you have experience in. Activity, likewise, it looks like you've been posting recently, which is awesome. Great job. Your about section. Okay, so your about section is small. It's very short and very high level overview. You talk about your passions, what you're interested in, what you're strong at, but you don't talk as much about the skills that you have, kind of like up here, your headline says this. And so I'd recommend, once again, adding a hook, cover the past, what you've done, present, what you are doing, future, what you're interested in, what kinds of recruiters, what kind of jobs are you interested in, and have a call to action. Like, if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out or something like that. So overall, your profile, it looks great. I think you're doing an excellent job. You have 50 skills. I'd recommend adding more skills to your about section. But your actual question was about how to connect with more recruiters that you're not hearing back from them. So what I'd recommend is it's all about the research that you do in the company that you want to get into. So I have 2 feedback for you. One is, I'm going to use LinkedIn as an example, but any company that you want to apply to, go to their company page, and then on each company page, you will see how many employees work at the company. So it says 25,000 employees. All right. So we're going to go to all of these employees and go to all filters and find some sort of thing that you can do to narrow this down. You can, for example, you can do past companies, or I would start out with school. So add your school. I'm going to do this for myself, Brigham Young University, and then click show results. Okay. Now I would take a look at some of these profiles. So with this, in the message that you send to connect with the recruiters, call out something very, very specific that makes it obvious that you are reaching out to only them and it is not a copy and paste message to anyone else. So for example, the way that I could mention this is, I saw that you studied business strategy, or I saw that you transitioned from Pluralsight to LinkedIn. I'd be interested in learning more how you did, or like, I'd love to learn more about your experience. So that's my first, is narrow it down to a pool of people who are more likely to respond. So alumni and people who have a common background with you. And number 2, this is kind of contradictory, but it worked this way as well, is you mentioned that you're not hearing back to recruiters that you're reaching out to. I would honestly skip reaching out to recruiters because they probably get 100 messages a month. It's really hard to stick out to. So I would instead reach out to people who are in the role that you want to reach at, that you want to do, because it's less likely that with their title, they're getting as much messages. So I hope that helps. In other words, so to recap what we said for your profile looks great. Just add more keywords to your about section. And then when you reach out, use the filters to narrow down the amount of people that you have that you can reach out to, and then reach out to less popular positions than recruiters, because they get a lot of messages. All right. If you just joined, if you're enjoying this, please feel free to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be trying to do more of these in the future. And also, you can add more responses and we can try and get your profile reviewed. So it looks like there are currently 34 profiles now. So we are going to add that. Great. Let's go for the blue one right here. All right, we got number 3. So we're going to go to submission number 3. Okay, so please tell me about your goals. I'd like to build my network in Canada as a newcomer and leverage my LinkedIn profile as a job seeker. That is why I'd like to make sure that my resume speaks of my aspirations, my strengths, and my achievements. Okay, great. So it looks like you're in Canada. Love to hear that. Love to hear in the chat where everyone's tuning in from. If you're in Canada or if you're based in the US, I'd love to hear where you're based out of. All right, so it sounds like you've recently moved to Canada. You're a newcomer, or you're a newcomer to LinkedIn. Okay, looks like I messed up right here. Perfect. Let's go right here. All right, see someone is from Provo. Love that. That's where I lived a year ago. Shout out to Provo. Okay, perfect. So initial first impression, clean profile picture, looks really good. Cover photo, I like it, but I'm confused. I'm like not super sure what it is and how it is related to your profile. So that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it could be much stronger. With this, you could add words that talk about some of your main focuses or your niche, some of your skills. Or you could have a different cover photo about a location. It could have a cover photo of something more relevant to you. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the cover photo. Is I like it. It looks clean, but I have no idea how it is related to your profile and your experience. So maybe as I take a look into your profile, I'll understand it a little bit more. Okay. With your let's take a look at your goal again. You mentioned leverage your profile as a job seeker. Okay, so with this, your headline says that you're a government relations professional. Are you currently in a role? Okay, so right here it says that you're currently a workforce policy and programs manager. So I would honestly add this second in your headline. So what I recommend is mention first that you have a current role. So workforce policy and programs manager at, that's a long name. You can say Canadian manufacturers and exporters, or you can just say workforce policy and programs manager, or at CME, something like that. And then you can add government relations professional, eager to advance public policy for equity and inclusion. Love that. Strong believer of ESG. I believe that's equity, environment. I'm not sure. I honestly, I hope people don't go after me for this, but I'm honestly going to have to look up what ESG means. Environmental, social, and governance. Oh, I probably should have known that. But this is an example of when you use abbreviations in your profile. If it's your target audience, they probably all understand. But if it is something that is very niche, very specific, you can add like an explanation or write it out. But yeah, so my only recommendation for your headline is to add what your current job is, and then also add some of your skills, one or two, since you already have a pretty long headline at the end. So that would look like, let's look at some of your skills. Public policy, business development. Great. There's two that you can add. All right, so we're going to take a look at your activity. Looks like you've been posting content, been getting likes. Super good job. Love that. Posting content as a job seeker is really helpful to get your profile out there. The about section. All right, loving this. Okay, my thoughts on this is it is in resume third person language, which is less personable. What I mean by this is if you look at this, you don't say she or her at all. So it's not third person technically, but it's not first person. You don't say I in any of these sentences. So I'd recommend adding it into the first person instead of saying a graduate of PhD, I graduated, PhD in marketing, etc. Makes it a little bit more personable. And then similar to the other ones, I would just recommend adding a paragraph at the bottom of your about section that talks about some of the skills that you have developed. So right here. Next thing, experience. For some of these, as a senior government relations manager, you added some bullet points. You skipped one for this. You added them again. So it's very spotty. Some of your job descriptions have bullet points, some of them don't. I would make an effort to make every one of your every one of your job experiences as robust as this section is right here. So add some of your bullet points, add it to Canadian manufacturers and exporters. And why this is helpful is because you mentioned that you're in the job search. And so every single word that you add here is a chance for your profile to get seen by more. And then add more pictures, just like you do right here. This looks amazing. So I would continue to add this. Istanbul Development Agency. It looks like, I don't know if you were in Istanbul, that can be something that you mention in your about section, like what obstacles have you had to overcome? Who are you? What have you done? Tell us a little bit more about you, what your experience is, what your story is. But looking good. Education, similar to these others, I'd recommend adding some courses taken at Carleton University. You can also add pictures, which is great. Licenses, certifications, these look really good. Okay, skills, you have 8, so you can add 42 more. What I'd recommend is looking up roles that you are interested in, and then looking at the required job amount, like the job description, and see what types of skills they're looking for. And then that gives you a good idea of what to add. A question that I get a lot is, what types of skill, or how do I know when I can add a skill to my profile if I don't have it? And honestly, what I would say is after you've watched 2 to 3 hours worth of either courses or videos on LinkedIn Learning, YouTube, etc. The reason why is because after 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours worth of content more than anyone who is not a beginner at all. But also it means that you are a beginner level. But the goal of the LinkedIn profile is to get you an interview. And then in the interview, you can clarify the amount of experience that you have. So yeah, that's my recommendation, is add more skills. Recommendations look great. You've received 4, which looks amazing. Interestingly enough, I noticed that all of these say that the people who recommended you worked at different companies. So I'd recommend getting ones from a manager, a direct report, or people within your same company. But overall, great job. I think you're doing a great job. And so adding a few more keywords to your profile will help your profile to get seen. All right. How are we doing? I hope this is helpful. Looks like Paul, shout out. Paul is in Skokie, so we're about 5 miles apart. Love to see it. All right, we're going to pick right here, and once again, I'm going to do 2. So since my internet has been a little bit slow, so I'm going to get them loading. All right, so Maria, okay, the profile isn't there right now, so maybe we can try this out. Duplicate, and then instead of Austin headline, try that. Okay, I think that worked. Next one is, let's take a look. All right, number 10. How's number 10? Lee. All right, Lee. Let's see. Lee actually sent me a message the other day. Great to be connected. Excited to review your profile. So let's take a look right here. Add this. All right. So great. That copy and paste worked for Maria. Let's take a look at what Maria mentioned. Okay. So her goal, or Maria's goal, is to make it more professional and know what skills to highlight, so unsure of the exact career path within psychology I want. But a role that you're looking for is clinical psychology intern. Awesome. So we know that you want to pursue psychology, which is great. Love having you here on the platform. First impressions overall is, one, love to see the open to work profile picture. Looks great. City looks like a really cool city. I am just not an expert. I don't know what city that is. But if that is personally relevant to you, feel free to keep it. I think the overall rule for a cover photo is, if you can answer the question, why did you pick this picture? Then it's okay. If this is somewhere that you lived or somewhere you want to go, etc., then great. All right, so this is a pretty bare profile right now, but we like that because that means that there's a lot of opportunities to continue growing. What I'd recommend is, it says student at Brigham Young University. I would start by adding some of the jobs that you have. If you're not currently working, then make this a little more specific. What kind of student are you at Brigham Young University? Is it a psychology student? What are you aspiring to do? So you can mention psychology student at Brigham Young University, and then aspiring clinical psychology intern. And you can also add a few skills that you've developed. If you don't have psychology related skills right now, you can look up courses, develop that, or you can also use transferable skills from other roles that you've had. Connections, I'll be completely honest right here. Anything under 50 connections, a lot of people are usually weary, because there are LinkedIn services that people create bots and use it for likes and comments, and they usually have very few connections. So I would make it a goal to try and connect with people in your close network, your friends, family, other psychology majors, and try and get past 50. And then that is the point where it's a lot more, I guess, credible, you could say, but also people know that you're not a robot, which sounds terrible, but it is the case. I've actually seen a few robots in the past. People do a lot of things to get likes and comments. All right. Yeah. The other things that I recommend is, like I said, add any sort of work experience that you have, even if it isn't psychology related, because it will show anything these days. There are transferable skills, even if it's customer service, even if it's you worked at a restaurant, or if you worked in a grocery store. Put all of that, if it's even if it's not related, and then you can highlight some of those transferable skills. And like I said, with education, talk about what you studied. It looks like you graduated. It says 2016 to 2020. So add what types of classes you took, what types of things that you did when you were at school. And then last but not least, skills. A lot of these, so yeah, leadership, analytical skills. I'd recommend adding hard skills. In the profile sign-up sheet, you mentioned you're still not sure what skills to highlight. And so what I'd recommend doing is we're going to take this clinical psychology intern, copy it, paste it into Google. I'm going to take a look at this role right here. If I had time, I would look up 9 other roles. But right now, we're going to look qualifications. Program for social work or counseling. I'm looking for any sort of keyword or skill. Interest in clinical adolescent population. All right, so counseling, social work, and then other things that it mentioned. House therapy, so therapy, therapeutic, so therapy, etc. So pretty much what I do is I would look at 5 to 10 different job descriptions and then try and get a good idea of what skills a lot of them are looking for. And so from this, a few different things that you can look into developing is counseling, psychology. You can mention therapy. You can add a few other psychotherapy or other keywords onto your profile. So that's a great way to find keywords, is looking up jobs that you want. But yeah, I wish you the best. As you do fill out your profile and you add more to this, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to take a second look at your profile and let you know my thoughts. But yeah, keep up the great work. All right. Next, we got Lee. So Lee is in Rexburg. First impression, beautiful cover photo. No idea where that is. If that's in the continental US or not, but pretty cover photo. Don't know fully like the relationship, the tie that it has to you, but I'd definitely be interested in learning more. So a few thoughts. Profile picture, open to work, looks great. Cover photo. If you can add something like, my first impression is I have no idea what this cover photo is. So you can add something that has more of a prominent relationship, whether that's, okay. That's probably what. This may be a picture of Hawaii. I may be mistaken, but yeah, that is probably Hawaii. You picked that cover photo. All right, about section. Top performing marketing professional with over 10 years experience in sales. So similar to some of the others that I mentioned, this looks like a resume copy and paste from like the top of a resume. So I'd add more personality into this, but I do love how you have your skills right here. This is a great job adding these skills. We're actually going to take a look at what it is that your goal was on LinkedIn. So you mentioned make more meaningful connections, provide value, really just make it worth their time. So you're looking for CSM, account executive roles. So I'm not going to dive too much into the sales side of it. Pretty much, since you're looking for sales roles, what I'd recommend is you're an MBA candidate, but you're also an experienced, management trainee. I'd add some of the experiences that you have. So mention experienced marketing professional or experienced sales professional up here, 10 plus years of experience. And then also add some of the skills at the end of this that you have. Business operations. What specific aspects of sales? Is it prospecting? Is it business development? Is it negotiating? So add the specific skills in sales to your profile. And then more about you. Where have you come from? What are you doing? Where do you want to go? What are you interested in outside of work? you can even add more than this. Pretty much every single skill that you add to this section is one more chance of getting found for a customer success manager role. And so that's actually one other advice that I do is you can add right here, I am open to roles as a customer success manager, marketing coordinator, etc. By literally saying I am open to these roles and then typing out the exact roles that you're looking for, you will appear in searches for customer success managers, even if it's not anywhere else on your profile. So that's my advice right there. But yeah, your main question wasn't as much about this. I think your profile looks great. You've added the skills. I'd add pictures to your experience sections, but you mentioned like how you can make meaningful connections in hopes of one day giving back and providing value to new connections. That's a tough aspect in the sense of we don't know in what ways we can provide value. But one thing that I'd actually recommend is I see that you're commenting on people's posts, which is an excellent way to build relationships and to add value to people on LinkedIn, because every time they post content, their goal is to be seen by more people, even though everyone says it's not about vanity metrics. It definitely doesn't hurt. And so every time you like and comment someone's post on someone's post, you are helping them be seen by more people. And so if you're looking to provide value to more people and connect with them, I would literally start in your feed. Every post that comes up that resonates with you, I would start commenting on them. Start commenting and liking them. You can even reach out to someone, click on their profile, reach out and be like, hey, I really like this post. It really resonated with me. I'm happy to continue like following your journey. So leaving comments is one great way to give back, help start the relationship. And then also just letting people know like in what ways you can help out. But if that is the case, I think one way you can help out is continue, looking for those roles that you're looking for, build out your profile. And then when you do land a customer success manager role or an account executive role, marketing coordinator role, post content for others to learn from. You can mention that you were in the job search, looking for these, and just talk about some of the things that you learned that was really helpful. I think those are a few ways that you can give back. But overall, your profile looks really good. Great job adding like these skills from your experiences. And also one thing that really stood out is that you have 41 skills. So excellent job. Okay. So we're getting about 10 minutes left. I'm going to do one or two more profile. Actually, I'm going to do one more profile review. And then if you do have any questions about either LinkedIn profiles in general or LinkedIn in general, feel free to send it in the chat. And I'd be happy to answer any questions with the time that we have remaining. So, all right, perfect. Right here, we have a profile from Victor. So Victor, the goal on LinkedIn is making new connections. If you're looking for a job, tech sales account manager. All right, so that's a role that Victor is open to. As I mentioned earlier in the call, I really appreciate you all for being here. If you did find value in this or you're finding value in this, please like and subscribe. And also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on LinkedIn. Feel free to message me or also in the comments on what types of videos you'd like in the future. I've considered content reviews. People share their posts, and then we'll take a look at the post, share tips and tricks on how to get more engagement, get their content seen by more people, etc. Okay. So Victor, first impression, love seeing the sales, business development, customer success, account management. The reason why I like this is because in the absolute first second that I look at your profile, I know that you're interested in sales, business development, etc. Next up, specializing in B2B sales and account management, focused on deep relationships and delivering greater customer value and information technology. Okay, great job. This is a mixture of what's called a keyword and a value proposition headline. So the keywords are B2B sales and account management, which means that you will be seen by more people who type in B2B sales or account management. They're looking for those roles. And then next is value proposition, because recruiters aren't typing in the word focused on deep, delivering greater so these are all words that talk about what you do as opposed to like keywords, which is great for if you are happy in your role, you're not looking for a job. But if you are looking for a role, this comes at the expense of keywords that you could be using on your profile to be seen by more recruiters. So I think it ultimately comes up, you mentioned your goals is making new connections. So I can't tell if you are in a role and you're really happy with it, or you are looking for account manager role and you're openly searching for a job. If you're openly searching for a job, then I would recommend shortening this value prop headline and adding more skills that relate to what you do. So like, for example, business development, account management, relationship management. These are all perfect examples of what you could add at the end of your headline if you want to be seen by more recruiters through your headline. Next thing, you mentioned your about section. Okay, what your entire life you've been interested in this. So you actually talk about like kind of why you're pursuing the role that you are in. You talk about the present and the past. So honestly, this is a great about section. I'd recommend, once again, just adding some keywords at the end of your profile. If you've been here since the beginning, you're going to see a trend in the sense that keywords are the key to getting job offers on LinkedIn. Knowing where to put your keywords in your headline, your about section, in your experience section, and your skills section, those are the ways that you are going to get job offers on LinkedIn. Those 4 ones specifically. I've seen it time and time again. People add keywords to these 4 sections, and within 2 or 3 days, they get contacted by recruiters. So yeah, add those keywords, just like what you have right here: business development, account management, relationship management. Add those into your about section. But overall, this is a very clean profile. Great job at filling out these experience sections. Honestly, I wish most experience sections on LinkedIn, people put in this much detail into the amount of work that they've done. So great job with this. Education. You can add more right here, what it is that you do, what you did, classes. Skills, you have 38. I'd recommend asking a past manager, a past coworker for recommendations. But overall, this is really helpful, really good. And then the last thing that I will mention is you said that you're struggling to make new connections. And so similar to what we mentioned at the beginning, for one of the profiles, what I'd recommend is typing a company that you want to work at and then making it hyper focused. If there's 10 companies that you want to work at, do this for literally all 10 companies that you're interested in working in. Go to the company, look at the employees, and then filter down your search. It can be by, for example, you are living in, I think it was Australia, not sure. You can do it by location, past company, school. Before we did school, but one thing that you can mention is sales. So I'm going to type in sales in the title and click results, show results. So there's 1,900 people here that have the word sales on their profile. So I'm going to click on one of these, say sales manager. All right. And then afterwards, take a look at their profile. 10, 11 years, over a decade. That's really cool. You can reach out and start looking for talking points. Sports marketing, they started in sports marketing and ended up in tech sales, etc. So what I'd do if I was connecting out, honestly, my talking point would be, hey, Howard, I saw your profile and I saw you've been working at LinkedIn for 11 years. I think that's awesome. I'm looking to, learn more from sales professionals. I'd love to connect, have you in my network or something like that. And just mentioning that he's been working at LinkedIn for 11 years, he'll immediately know that you spent time researching the profile. And then repeat this for every company that you're interested in. The key to connecting more on LinkedIn, making new connections, is taking the time to personalize it and do the research. But as you do so, I have no doubt, like, your profile is looking good. You will, I'm sure, like, as you do add more keywords, you're going to start seeing those results on LinkedIn. And you've done a good job building out your profile so far. So really good job. But yeah, so that we are almost at the hour. Those are the profiles that I had in mind for reviewing today. I am like I said that we can't get to all of them, but this is my first time doing these kind of profile reviews. I hope that it was helpful. Please do let me know in the comments below, or also on LinkedIn, if you did find value from this session. I will be doing more in the future, and so if you have friends who are in the job search or people who could benefit, feel free to let them know, and then next time I'll try and review their profile. But thanks so much, everyone. If you've stuck around this long, once again, if you can like and subscribe, it'd mean a lot. And also, I'd love to connect on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a message, and be happy to take a look at profile additions that you've made. But in the end, LinkedIn is difficult, but stay patient. You're all doing so good. So thanks so much, everyone. Hope you have an excellent day wherever you are. Take care.